We'd like to welcome to the program former State Representative Joe Dorman of Rush Springs and former State Senator A.J. Griffin of the Guthrie area. They're going to be talking about the Vote Yes 836 campaign. A.J., thanks for joining us today. Tell us what you're doing these days.
Well, thanks, and thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be on. I'm the CEO of the Potts Family Foundation. We are a funder. We fund programs that support children and families all across the state of Oklahoma, including we have 17 family resource centers in communities from, we go all the way from Woodward down to Hugo and all across the state, just doing the work that I love, which is influencing policy and supporting programs that make life better for Oklahoma children.
People from this neck of the woods know about Joe Dorman, former state representative from Rush Springs. So, Joe, tell us what you've been up to. And, of course, you've been I have you on the radio at least once or twice a year. So this is time number one today.
It's always great to be back on with you, my friend. Of course, I served District 65 for 12 years, which included parts of Grady, Caddo, Comanche, Cotton, and Stevens counties, including Chickasha, Nettecaw, Rush Springs, my hometown Rush Springs. Following my run for governor in 2014, I signed up to work for the Oklahoma Institute for Child Advocacy, which is a nonprofit organization that's been around for about 43 years, working to improve policies at the state capitol and in other areas of politics to pass laws and policies that benefit the children of the state.
Joe, you're a Democrat, and AJ, you're a Republican, and so you guys are kind of doing a little bipartisan campaigning for this. So AJ, tell us, for those that might not know, what is Vote Yes 836?
Joe and I generally do a lot of bipartisan work. We care a lot about Oklahoma, people that live here, and I think that's why we're both working to improve the way we do elections in Oklahoma. The Vote Yes 836 would change the way we do primary elections in the state of Oklahoma. So currently we have a closed primary system. That means we have parties that host their primaries as part of our election process, funded by the taxpayers, but they're closed, meaning only registered voters in those particular parties are allowed to vote for candidates that are on their ballot. What 836 would do would be open that system, and we would move to a top two. All of the candidates go on the ballot. Everyone has an opportunity to cast a vote for any of the candidates they might choose, and the top two would move on to the next round.
Currently, the Democratic Party kind of has, want to say, open primaries because they let the independents vote in their primaries.
I was one of the leaders in the party that helped move that direction, and it's not a truly open party system. We allow those unaffiliated voters, often called independent voters, to vote in the primary. Right now, those who register as an independent or unaffiliated are disenfranchised. We've got about 1 in 5, it's close to 500,000 Oklahoma voters are registered as independent. They cannot officially vote in primaries unless a party allows them to do that. So the Democrats have opened it up. The Republican Party has not done that yet. So these individuals are very limited in their choices. And you also have the issue of individuals, if there is only one party that files for an office for an election, that means the other party and those unaffiliated voters have no choice in who ultimately their elected official is.
We see that from time to time, quite often, as a matter of fact. So it just seems like a more fair way for Oklahomans to collectively choose their leaders in the future.
You say from time to time, actually in the 2024 election cycle, 86% of the federal, state, and county offices had no general election, or the general election that was rendered, it was basically meaningless because there weren't the two major parties represented on the ballot. So 86% of the time in Oklahoma, the November election is irrelevant.
How did this thing get started?
The state question 836 will be the result of an initiative petition. We have not started collecting signatures yet, so no one's missed anything. It's going through the process right now, which of course there's always protests and there is a kind of a prolonged process, but we're hopeful that we'll start collecting signatures fairly soon. Voters will have an opportunity to put their name on that petition, which would send this state question to the voters with the goal of having it on the election ballot in November of 2026.
So that's still a ways off, and you'll have like 90 days to get X number of signatures to get that on the ballot.
Yes, and that 90-day window hasn't started yet.
Right.
We're still anticipating that happen soon, so everyone will start to see individuals working to collect those signatures on this petition, hopefully very soon, within the next month.
So people should be listening to their local media outlets and find out when, because these will be going on statewide.
With the changes that we saw happen in the legislature, there are rules that are now in place that could be challenged by the court. So we're still not 100% sure what the guidelines will be for the upcoming petition drive. But an organization has the ability to file a petition and then distribute those petition pages statewide, and then individuals will have the opportunity to sign up. They simply just have to be a registered voter in Oklahoma. It doesn't matter what political party. They have to fill out their information and submit, and then there will be a process of counting and verifying the signatures, and if they achieve the threshold that's necessary under the law, then it's submitted as a question to the vote of the people in one of the upcoming statewide elections.
So there was just the legislature just changed. When there was an issue where they just changed how the petitions, the number of voters from each county now have to get more from each county instead of just going to municipal areas. Am I getting that right?
Well, you're referring to a piece of legislation that just passed and was signed by the governor that will, of course, be protesting. What the legislature did basically was attempt to statistically eliminate the opportunity for Oklahoma voters to bring something directly onto the ballot. Probably one of the worst pieces of legislation I've seen come out of that building in several years. And I contend, and many people agree, that many of those provisions are not even constitutional. Each Oklahoma voter, regardless of where they reside, counts as a voter. One person, one vote has always been the rule. And limiting the opportunity for individuals to sign a petition or have their signature count in a petition drive just because they happen to live in a city instead of in the country, I contend it's kind of a slap in the face to the United States Constitution. So we are hopeful that will not impact, but regardless of what happens with that particular piece of legislation, State Question 836 will get on the ballot here in Oklahoma. This is a very important change for voters in Oklahoma, and regardless of the roadblocks that are placed in front of us, we're going to continue to push ahead.
As it stands right,
I want to add on to that, George. Yes. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution, one of the parts that's often forgotten there is the right guaranteed to the public to petition their government. And so it's enshrined in the Constitution, in the First Amendment, that Americans have the right to petition their government for change. And so anytime you restrict or limit those rights, in my opinion, it's a violation of the Constitution. And so there certainly will be challenges that happen with this, and we'll see how the courts decide it. No matter what happens, we will always have that right to petition our government to make changes. And with this effort and other efforts, we're certainly going to make sure that the people have that ability to initiate change themselves when they can't count on their politicians to do it.
So there will be some elections coming up later this fall, but you're encouraging people that are currently not registered to do that. So once that petition drive gets started, they can get their names on the petition.
Any individual who's a registered voter has the opportunity to sign this. Now, if you register to vote, you need to make sure you wait until your registration clears, until you receive your card back from the county election board before you participate in the system. And we want every person who is out there as a registered voter to read this and consider signing it, because this is just going to provide more opportunities for Oklahomans to have a greater decision-making power on who their elected officials will be, and for many cases where areas only have one party file for an office, it's going to open it up for all people who are qualified registered voters in Oklahoma have the ability to make a decision and cast a vote for who they think would be the best person to represent them in whatever office is on the ballot.
We're 50th in voter turnout, 50th at the bottom of the barrel in voter turnout. And the goal is to get more Oklahomans actively involved in electing the people who represent them at all levels of government. That includes our congressional delegation and our county officials. We have, it's extremely concerning to me that only 6 of the 77 county sheriff's races last election cycle were contested. 6 of 77. So 71 counties. Really, no one had a voice in who their elected sheriff, the chief law enforcement officer of their county, was. So this is important for local elections all the way up to who we send to Congress.
And people can simply do it online at the State Election Board website.
Several years ago, Senator David Holt, people may know him as the mayor of Oklahoma City, he ran legislation that allowed for individuals to be able to go on the State Election Board website and register to vote online. David and I actually, as a senator and representative, worked on legislation similar to the open primaries that would have allowed for this to happen years ago. And we met a lot of questioning about that, wondering what the motives were. And the motive simply was to give more Oklahomans the ability to have a chance to go and vote. It's frustrating when someone hears about an election, they go to the polling place and they show up, and then they're not allowed to cast a ballot because it's only in one party. There's only a challenge in that one party. And so this is just a matter of fairness and I believe rights for each individual who is a registered voter to be able to cast a ballot to decide who ultimately their elected official will be and who will represent them.
So what happens now between now and once the petition drive starts?
Now's the time to educate yourself about the issue. There's a couple of websites we encourage everyone to visit. www.ok-united.org. Oklahoma United is the organization that we formed to support the work of this initiative. And you can also visit voteyes836.com. Both of those websites have a lot of information about the data behind this movement and why we think, as people who care about Oklahoma, why we think it's important that we make Oklahoma elections more transparent, more fair, and to increase the accountability of elected officials so that each elected official answers to every voter.
And the organization is also on social media. You can hop on Facebook and follow the page. There are several events happening around the state. We're planning an event for the Chickasha area that will come up at the beginning of the school year. We're waiting to get past the summer months when people are not as busy with their vacation time or other things. And also for students to get back to USAO, we want to have a crowded room to be able to share information and answer questions and let people know what's happening with this and how they can get involved. And just like we want more people to be able to vote in elections, we want more people to have an active part of this process, because we will need individuals out collecting signatures and certainly signing the petition so we can make sure this comes up on a future ballot.
Joe Dorman and A.J. Griffin joining us on the program today. Thanks very much, and let us know when you're going to be coming to the Chickasha area. We'll be glad to help you guys out.
Thanks so much for having us today, George.